Hello, my name is Victoria Marie Diaz, and we're going to be talking about the anxiety of life. The topic is about anxiety, and there are many types of anxiety disorders that tend to affect many around the world, which it happens to be the most common mental illness, as it is said. The five major type, types of anxiety disorders that we will be talking today about is generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, post traumatic stress disorder, and social phobias, or as they call it, social anxiety disorder. Well, generalized anxiety disorder, um, if an individual displays excessive anxiety or worry most days for at least 6 months about a number of things such as one's personal health, work, and social interactions, and everyday routine life circumstances tend to go downhill. The fear and anxiety causes problems in their life, such as social interaction, school, and work. And this is where they would probably start to have problems. The symptoms to notice are feeling restless, wound up, or on edge, being easily fatigued, having difficulties concentrating, mind going blank, being irritable, having muscle tension, difficulty controlling feelings of worry, having sleep problems such as difficulties falling or staying asleep, restless or unsatisfying sleep, which these are pretty common symptoms in someone that is dealing with generalized anxiety disorder. And the other one is panic disorder, um, where it says people suffering from panic disorder tend to have reoccurrent, unexpected panic attacks. Panic attacks are sudden periods of intense fear that comes on quickly and reaches their peak within minutes. An attack can occur unexpectedly or can be brought on by a trigger such as a feared object or situation, which the symptoms that an individual may experience during a panic attack is the heart palpitations, um, would probably pound harder, and an accelerated heart rate would probably go up. Sweating, trembling, or shaking, sensations of shortness of breath, or like you feel like you're being smothered, or like you're choking. Feeling of impending doom, feelings of being out of control. People with panic disorder tend to worry about when the next attack will happen and actively try to prevent future attacks by avoiding places, situations, or behaviors they associate with panic attacks. People with phobia may have an irrational or excessive worry about encountering the feared object or situation. Take active steps in avoiding the feared object or situation. Experiencing immediate intense anxiety upon encountering the feared object or situation. Endure unavoidable objects. and situations with intense anxiety. There are simple phobias um, that people do have intense fear of anxiety about, like specific objects or situations such as flying, heights, specific animals that they might have a fright of, like spiders, dogs, or snakes. Receiving injections or blood. Some people get really anxious about that. Social anxiety disorder that we are talking about now, people that experience social anxiety tend to have anxiety towards social or performance situations. These people usually worry that actions or behaviors associated with their anxiety will be negative, and and that people would probably judge them or laugh at them and and that's how a person with social anxiety would feel. um, and it makes them feel embarrassed. um, this worry can cause people with social anxiety to avoid social situations. Social anxiety disorder can manifest within the workplace or the school environment. And the symptoms a person with social anxiety may experience: blushing, fast heartbeat, trembling, shakiness, sweating or sweating of the palms, upset stomach, nausea, trouble catching your breath, dizziness or lightheadedness, fear of fainting, feeling that your mind has gone blank, chest tightness or choking sensations, or dry mouth. These are your typical symptoms that a person with social anxiety may experience. Um, and then compulsive disorder. Individuals that suffer from OCD can have either obsessive thoughts urges or compulsive repetitive behaviors. Some individuals can be both obsessive and compulsive. The disorder can affect an individual's job, school, relationships, and keep the individual from living a normal life. Obsessive thoughts, for example, um, is to think that your family members might get hurt if they don't put their clothing on in the exact same order every morning. A compulsive habit, for example, might be to wash your hands 7 times after touching something that might be dirty, although you may not want to think or do these things, you feel powerless to stop. Obsessions and compulsions can involve the need for order or cleanness, hoarding, and intrusive thoughts about sex, religion, violence, body parts, and so on. Obsessive thoughts can include fear of germs, getting dirty, worry about getting hurt or others being hurt, need for things to be placed in the exact order, belief that certain numbers or colors can are good or bad, constant awareness of blinking, breathing, or other body sensations, unfound suspicion a partner is unfaithful. These are your typical person with obsessive thoughts, which can include these things. Compulsive habits. can include washing hands many times in a row, doing tasks in a specific order every time, or a certain good number of times. Repetitive checking on a locked door, light switch, and other things. Need to count things like steps or bottles. Putting items in the exact order, like cans with labels facing front. Fear of touching doorknobs, using public toilets, or shaking hands because they feel like they might get germs from somebody. Um, these are your basic compulsive habits that a person may have problems with. And the next one would be post traumatic stress disorder. Usually, individuals that have experienced a shaking, scary, or dangerous events. Um, these are the people that would show post traumatic stress disorder. Well, fear triggers many split seconds, um, changes the body to help defend against danger and to avoid it. This is called fight or flight. Response is typical. Reaction meant to protect the person from harm. Nearly everyone will experience a range of reactions after trauma, which most people recover from these symptoms naturally. Those who continue to experience problems may be diagnosed with PTSD. People with PTSD may feel stressed, frightened, even when they are not in danger. Signs and symptoms of PTSD are not every traumatized person develops ongoing, chronic, or even short term acute PTSD. Not not everyone with PTSD has been through a dangerous event. Some experiences, like the sudden unexpected death of a loved one, can also cause PTSD. It is said symptoms usually begin early, within 3 months of the traumatic incident, but sometimes they begin years afterwards. Symptoms must last more than a month and be severe enough to interfere um, with relationships or work to be considered PTSD. The illness varies, but some individuals recover within 6 months, while other symptoms tend to last much longer. In some people, the condition becomes chronic. To be diagnosed with PTSD, an adult must show all of the following for at least 1 month: at least one re experiencing symptom, at least one avoidance symptom, at least two arousal or reactivity symptoms, and then at least two cognition or mood symptoms. Re experiencing symptoms includes flashbacks, reliving the trauma over and over includes physical symptoms like a racing heart or sweating, bad dreams, frightened thoughts. Re experiencing symptoms cause, cause problems in an individual's everyday routine. The symptoms can start from the person's own thoughts and feelings, words, objects, situations that are reminders of the event can also trigger re experiencing symptoms. So, And avoidance symptoms include staying away from places, events, and objects um, that are a reminder of the traumatic experience, avoiding thoughts or feelings related to the traumatic event, things that remind a person of the traumatic event can trigger avoidance symptoms. These symptoms can cause a person to um, change their personal routine, such as after a bad car accident. A person that usually drives may avoid driving or riding in a car. Arousal or reactivity symptoms includes being easily startled, feeling tense or on edge, having difficulty sleeping, having anger outbursts. Arousal symptoms tend to be constant instead of being triggered by things that remind a person of the traumatic event. Feeling like these can make the person feel stressed and angry and hard to do daily tasks such as sleeping, eating, and concentrating. Cognition and mood symptoms includes trouble remembering key factors of the traumatic event, negative thoughts about oneself or the world, distorted feelings like guilt or blame, loss of interest, enjoyable activities that maybe they used to love to do. Cognitive and mood symptoms can begin or worsen after the traumatic event. These symptoms can make a person feel alienated or detached from friends, family members. These, when people have very, very serious symptoms that can go away after a few weeks, it is called acute stress disorder. When a symptom lasts more than a month, seriously affects one's ability to function, it may be PTSD. Some with PTSD don't show any symptoms for weeks or months. Children react differently than adults when they um, suffer from PTSD. These symptoms may include wetting the bed after having learned to use the toilet, forgetting how to or being unable to talk, acting out the scary event during playtime, being unusually clingy with a parent or other adults. Older children and teens, on the other hand, are more likely to show symptoms similar to adults. They may develop disruptive, disrespectful, and um, destructive behaviors. Older teens and children may feel guilty for not preventing injury or deaths, and they may also have thoughts of revenge. Risk factors with PTSD at any age, such as war veterans, children, people that have experienced physical or, or sexual assault, abuse, um, accidents, disasters, or other serious events. According to the National Center of PTSD, about 7 or 8 out of every 100 people will experience PTSD at some point in their life. Supposedly, women are more likely to develop PTSD than men, and genes may make some more likely to develop PTSD than others. And this is just this statistic thinking from um, their research. Not everyone with PTSD has been through a dangerous event. Some may develop PTSD after a friend or family member experienced danger or harm. The sudden, unexpected death of a loved one can lead to PTSD. Some factors that increase the risks for PTSD may include living through dangerous events or trauma, getting hurt, seeing another person hurt, seeing a dead body, childhood trauma, feeling horror, helplessness, or extreme fear, having little or no social support after the event, dealing with extra stress after the event, such as loss of a loved one, pain, injury, or loss of a job or home, having a history of mental illness or substance abuse. These are your typical um, symptoms that could increase the risks of PTSD. And some factors that may promote recovery after trauma include seeking out support from other people, such as a friend and family, or someone that you trust that you can really talk to. Finding a support group after a traumatic event. This is kind of nice because um, usually there's other people that can understand your feelings, and you're not the only one that went through this stuff, and you guys can really understand each other. You're like that support group with more than one person, and it's kind of nice. Learning to feel good about one's actions in the face of danger, having positive coping strategies or a way of getting through the bad event and learning from it, being able to act and respond effectively despite feeling fear. These are some factors that promote recovery. Um, these might be some good suggestions to think about. And if anyone is suffering from generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, PTSD, social phobias, or as they call it, social anxiety disorder, and you notice some of your symptoms, it is important to seek help. It is always important to seek help, regardless. Um, a nice thing is like maybe you might have to see some talk therapy. Talk therapy is good. Um, it's nice to talk to someone because sometimes, you know, it's nice to have a support group, but it's nice to also have that other support too. And there's nice like most of these anxieties, the best therapy that I think is CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy, something like that. Some individuals may need medication to reduce some of these symptoms. Sup- support group, sorry, support groups are a very great source of support, and stress management techniques and medication help people with anxiety disorders to calm themselves and tend to enhance the effects of therapy, which aerobics exercise can help some manage their anxiety, which there is, and also like meditation. Um, I know sometimes it's nice just to, which works for me, um, when I come home and I feel stressed and I feel like all clingy and I feel like my whole day just went down the drain. I like to take a nice hot bath. It is a nice source to relax your body, your bones, and a nice quiet room. When if you have children, maybe you might have to wait until they go to sleep, but that is a nice source of relaxing your whole body. And meditation. Meditation is awesome. Um, but supposedly, there is a new treatment approach for people with OCD. If your regular treatments don't respond well, like the usual therapies that they suggest for OCD, and if they don't work very well, there supposedly there's a new approach, which includes combining and adding on augmentation treatments, as well as novel techniques such as deep brain stimulation or DBS. If if you want more information on this new therapy, it is good to go um, to the website, um, which is right here. It is nice to go to this website. It is right here. If you really want to research some more information about it. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.